Oh, let's see. I'm not sure if this is going to work or not. We didn't go live last night. Turn that light off. Turn this one on. There we go. See if we get anybody in here. Something's going on in Santa Clara County, California. Do we know what it is? Little Viking Coach, what's going on? On everybody. Santa Clara County, California. Ratman, what's up? I follow Radio Scanner. It's a scanner app. It's a, like if you had a scanner, it's on the internet, and it'll give me alerts if more than 5,000 people are listening to something. Usually you get the news first from that. What's up, Elizabeth? What's up? One. Oh, Ratman, where you at? What are you doing? One. I don't know if you beat Daniel or not, but you can pretend you do. Kevin and Ollie, good morning. Someone's on the third shift. Nothing Woody, what's up? Yo, everybody. It is Sunday. I'm here in Effingham, Illinois. And got the big yellow sign in front of me. And we got our obligatory bottle of water. So you're in a good mood. I am in a good mood. Had a good time off at home, even though it was just like, I don't know, 16 hours. We did all right. Truck's running good. Tomorrow's an easy day, 6-hour drive. And that'll give me some time to work on my next load, which I got a load going up to the Mitten State. And then got to finish out the rest of my week. So, but yeah, we are in a good mood. Jonathan Wheeler, what's up? Steel Horse, so up. Anyways, had a really good conversation with Big Rich today. Had a good conversation with Steve Berger today. I picked up in the caves in Springfield. Had to go underground. I interrupted Baywatch. Yep, I'll be going to the Mitten State there, Elizabeth. But I was talking to a really good friend of mine today, and you can strategize, you can study markets, you can cut your costs down. You can work for a good company. You can have a good truck. In the end, the only thing that's going to get you through is attitude. Your attitude towards people, your attitude towards the brokers, your attitude towards people in the fuel island, your attitude towards your company, your attitude towards yourself. The people that I find struggling at their respective companies, whether it be Landstar, Schneider, anywhere, and I mention those two because that's where I've been. Sometimes the only thing you've got is attitude. How do you approach things? How do you look at things? And at the end of the day, you're running a business. You could be the best truck driver out there. And some people are really good at driving the truck down the road. I'll give you a prime example. When my turbo was out in my old truck, sitting there in a hotel room with the $8,000 bill looming over my head, and it was going to be more. A friend of mine called, and he's like, Steve, how are you not losing it? How are you not losing your SHIT, right? Because I was very calm. Now, you can kind of say it was denial. You know, you can kind of say that, you know, I was kind of numb. But it would have done me no good to be freaking out. It would have done me no good to be completely angry with it. Because in the end, there was nothing I can control. I can't control the shop and their labor. I can't control what rates that they're charging. I could barely control where I took the truck. And what I started to do, got 20 people in here. What I started to do was, what am I grateful for? Well, number one, I was grateful for the means to be able to pay for it. Number two, I was grateful that I was able to afford a hotel. 3, I was grateful for the people that were trying to help me assess the problem, because some people thought it might have been something else, and then other people told me to check the turbo actuator, which that ended up being a good thing to check, because that went out like the first 20 miles of the trip, after it was fixed. I was grateful that the shop did give me a bit of a discount. They didn't have to. And I started to look of how much worse it could possibly be. And I was grateful for the things that I had. That is how I kept my sanity. That is what kept me going. Because who do you blame? I mean, we could blame brokers, we could blame the company, we could blame we could blame the manufacturers, but in the end, who can I blame for my turbo issue? There's nobody to blame. It just happens. It happens, right? And I believe gratitude is the path to keep you from doing more destructive things to yourself, such as suicide, right? Because gratitude gives you that little bit of hope, and that little bit of hope is important. It's when you feel that there's no hope, that's when things become dangerous. And when you're calm and collected and not losing it, it's easier to make decisions that will help you get through the tough times. I'm not the smartest owner-operator. I'm not the most productive owner-operator. There's a lot of things that I need to learn. There's a lot of things I need to improve on. But at the same time, I've been doing it for 5 years. And it's been a tough 5 years. There's been their ups and there's been their downs, you know. And I try to position myself strategically to put me in a place where if I had to leave, I can. As far as, you know, financials and all that stuff. And the only thing that I think that I can do is that was stupid. One of the things that has helped me thus far is attitude. Now, I'm not sitting here like, life is good, going down the road. You know, I'm not doing that. My head's not in the sand. I'm more of a realist than you guys probably think.
Say a command.
Shut up! I don't recognize that command. Exit. Oh. Forgot to do my DVIR. Forgive me, people. See, here's the thing with attitude, guys. It allows you to have friends in good places. It allows you having a good attitude. People are more willing to step up to the plate and help you out. And, you know, makes it easier with the family to be behind you. And I don't care who you are. If your family's not behind you on your business, you're not going to make it. That's a blatant blanket statement, and you guys know I hate blanket statements. But if the family's not on board, especially in this business, you're not going to make it. I've watched people smarter than me. I've watched people that are better drivers than me. I've watched people that are more productive than me go by the wayside, give up, or fail. And, you know, I could have a $20,000 breakdown tomorrow. I mean, look at Escargot. He's got the same truck I do. What's going to help me? My friends, my family, my attitude. That's it. I just wanted to get that off my chest. Let's go to the comments. All right. Amen, brother, says Ratman. Says same thing with Kevin. I'm no Pam Anderson. That is correct, Agent Orange. Optimistic kid stuck in a room full of crap is happy because he knows with this much crap there's got to be a pony somewhere. That's pretty good, Ratman. Big Road Little Truck, what's up? Nothing, wait a minute. What happened? I had to step away from it. What shop? There's no shop. We're good. Nothing, Witty. We're good. The pessimistic kid in a room full of toys is sad because he knows they will be taken away sometime. There you go. Blame the manufacturer for making cheaper trucks now. One, that's kind of everything. You know what I mean? They're definitely not cheaper. That's for sure. But they are more disposable, you know. Charles Anderson, what's up? Will Burke, how's it going? The heavenly glow on your head. Yeah. Here, we'll do it. We'll do this. There you go. Now I've got even more of a glow. Everybody's laughing at me. A couple of them shocked me. Right, Provost. And, you know, and here's the ultimate sentence. Here's the thing, right? You have to surround yourself with people that know more than you. Not people that think they know more than you. There's a difference. And if you listen to 10 business people, you're going to get 10 different ways of doing something. There's not one person out here who has all the answers. None, right? Because what works for me may not work for the guy in the truck next to me. What works for him may not work for the guy next to him. For example, there's a Peterbilt 389, big stacks, you can probably hear it. Pulling a flatbed coming out of here. Stuff on the flatbed looks pretty expensive. That business model will not work for the generic dry van hauling, you know, $1.60 mile freight for, you know, one of these big time brokers, right? I couldn't do what that guy does, and he probably wouldn't want to do what I do. So the only similarities is we both have trucks that have 18 wheels. That's it. We both follow the same regulations, the same rules. Other than that, our worlds are completely different. So the problem with like the YouTube universe and the Facebook universe, where people are trying to tell you how to run your business and how to run this and how to deal with that and what's better, you know, this aspect or that aspect, it changes from person to person. You know, you got a person that is the sole breadwinner, who's forced to make sure that his stuff is right versus costs, you know, like stuff like cost and everything else. And you got a person that doesn't have high bills at home. His truck's paid off, so, you know, he can run more casually, right? Then you got people that have other businesses to help offset losses on the truck. You know, I mean, you never know what each person's story is. You know, I think out of all the guys here at Like Trucking, we all have individual stories. We all have individual needs. You know, and Jeff's system of how he runs things and how we're paid simplifies. And the only difference is how each of us are running and what our costs are and what our net is. He makes the system easy so we can easily see what we need to do. Does that make sense? It probably doesn't make sense. That was probably a dumb statement. But sometimes when you're angry, sometimes when there's nothing but negativity, it's hard to see what avenues you need to go. And if you're the kind of person that complains and complains and complains about a lot of things, there are less, you know, you really find out who your true friends are, you know. You know, I've got a really good friend that you know, he rightfully has some complaints. But you know what? I talk him off the ledge. We help each other out. We talk about stuff besides trucking, you know, and that helps the situation. But if it was for that, this dude was a nice guy and he helps people when he can, you know, that might be less likely to happen, you know. Air Vaquero, what's up? Truck for Life, Society X. Getting deep, I like it, says Charles. I take all the advice I can get from people and try to find what parts work for me. That is correct, Jason Perry. Daniel Adami is going to Queens, New York. Everybody say a prayer for him. Give him your thoughts, positive vibes. And just be glad, Daniel, you're not fronting the tolls for that. Mr. Burger, what's up? I already have an open bottle of water. And lock the doors. Talk about Queens. Hey, Daniel, Provo says Queens is a no-fly zone, and he's from the Northeast, so what does that tell you? I've got a lot of people trying to give me confidence. And I think that all these people know that I'm my worst enemy. I think we all are I think that we are all our own worst enemy. Say that 5 times fast. An atmospheric key. There you go. And which, by the way, Kevin, we're still waiting for your video, your public service announcement, your PSA. We are our own worst enemy sometimes. Sometimes our biggest hurdle is ourselves. Like I said, you could be the kind of guy that's got a brand new truck, brand new trailer, low expenses, and you can find a way to screw it up. That's a going joke with Burger and I. Say Sandistan 10 times. 10 times? No way. No way, Burger. How about I call Dan the Sandman and see if he can do that, right? Yukon says he's awesome. I'll agree there, Yukon. You are awesome. Your confidence is inspiring. Why do I have a lack of confidence in making some decisions? Because I lack knowledge. Knowledge is power. Is it Schoolhouse Rock? Remember that? You guys remember Schoolhouse Rock? I'm okay, you're okay. Steve Burger. Get rid of despair. It's what holds you back. Despair? I think fear of the unknown, you know? There's no guarantees in life. I love all the comments. But anyways, what else you guys want to talk about? That was probably all dumb stuff. Use knowledge as power. Fear is the thief of dreams. I love that. I love that, Provost. Fear is the thief of dreams. Wow, I love that. Dude, I'm writing that down. I am totally writing that down. And that's going to be the thumbnail of this video if I keep it up. Let's write that down. Fear is the thief of dreams. That's going to be a song lyric too. Awesome. It would be a good album title, Steve. See, Steve Berger and I were thinking along the same lines right there. Fear of the Dark. There you go. Fear of the Dark. Fear of the Dark. I'm sorry, I just think some bad Iron Maiden. Or some Iron Maiden badly. There is no such thing as bad Iron Maiden. Well, except for Blaze Bayley stuff. Anyways. That would be a good song, or album title, song title, something, right? Us metalheads get pretty deep sometimes. There's a difference in confidence in trying to make the best decision. Place the song, oh man, there you go. Let's go over my 5 years of being an owner-operator, right? I've done it for 3 companies. Landstar, I did okay. Schneider, I did great. And here I'm doing pretty good. And I've dealt with a truck catching on fire. I've dealt with 1 freight recession. I've dealt with, pretty high fuel costs. I have dealt with major truck breakdowns. I've had 2 trucks. I'm on my 2nd truck. Maybe a 3rd is in the future. Who knows? We've had blood, sweat, and tears. But I'm still here. So I must be doing something. Not sure what it is. Other than a little bit of luck, a little bit of attitude, and a lot of support. Because you can't do this by yourself. You just can't. Jose, what is up? On keto, can you drink milk? Carbs are kind of high. I'm gonna catch this sumbitch on fire. Burger, I know, man. I am managing. LOL. Oh man. But that's the thing though. Here's the thing. When my truck caught on fire, for those of you who don't know the history, I had a Peterbilt 387 and I had just got my batteries replaced. And the guy at Interstate Battery did not know how to hook them back up. So he got them hooked up to where I could start the truck, but not the APU. So evidently he did something wrong. So I had to go to an APU place in Springfield that I will not mention because I will not give them any press. And they fixed it for me free of charge because that's where the APU originally came from. I went on my merry way. I was in Gallup, New Mexico. And that morning, I had just gotten my truck washed in Amarillo. And I did an undercarriage wash. It was wintertime. And so, no big deal. I get to Gallup, New Mexico, shut down. Got my APU running. Sitting there watching TV. Just got done eating dinner. And I hear my inverter starts making a noise. Like a beep. Like a beep. Sorry. Beep. Something like that, right? And I was losing power. So I start up the truck. Mistake. Start up the truck, and I could smell smoke pretty fast. I knew something was burning. So I opened up my bed, opened up that, nothing burning there. But that's where the smoke was coming from. So I get out of the truck, and I look behind the sleeper, and there it was. Flames about yay high. And I start yelling, fire. And I hit the air horn. I got back in the truck, hit the air horn, and I'm fumbling trying to get my fire extinguisher, right? Because my fire extinguisher was on the passenger side on the seat, on the floorboard. I don't recommend that spot. So I come around the corner. Now the guy in this truck to this side, he takes off. He's like, I ain't gonna let my truck burn. The guy over here hands me his fire extinguisher. I put the fire out and thanked him, and the truck was still running, but I could hear air hissing. I had absolutely no air. And what had happened was, when I got the undercarriage wash, it broke all the zip ties of the wiring that went from the inverter to the batteries to the APU. And at some point, they rubbed raw on the frame and it arced. That's why the inverter was going off, and that's why it started a fire. So basically, the wires underneath the driver's side area that go to the battery were all on fire. That's what was on fire. Now, when I started the truck, that's what triggered it. Now, you can also say if that fire would have started if I was outside of the truck, we'd be having a different conversation right now. If I had been sleeping, we would have had a much different conversation right now. We wouldn't be having one. And I will tell you guys this. If you wanted to ask me what was my lowest point in this whole venture of the last 5 years, that was it. The truck had started nickel and diming me. The rates were getting lower. I was finding myself in areas that I'm not used to. I was not having a good time. And when your truck catches on fire, it's a sobering experience, and do you know what some people told me? Do you know what some people told me? You should have let it burn because you're not succeeding. People actually told me that. You should have let it burn. That way you could have washed your hands of the whole thing, go back to being a company driver, and you would have had a legitimate excuse. Do you know how frustrating that is? That's like, when people were randomly coming up to me at truck stops that knew me from YouTube and saying, Steve, you need to lose weight, But people actually told me to let it burn. That was the lowest point. It wasn't when I was, so sitting in a hotel room with an $8,000 bill was nothing compared to what I dealt with that night. And you know who reached out to me? You know who was a good friend? Pale Rider. And the most frustrating thing is I could not call my family. My phone service would not make a phone call. But I could text and I could get on Facebook. How screwed up was that? And do you think I slept well that night? No. But here's the beauty of it, though. Here's the good part. Here's the good news of that story. So security came out to make sure everything was okay. And the shop came out, and at first they were like, "Oh, this is electrical. We can't touch this." So, but we wheeled and dealed. And what had happened was my air hoses that go from the tanks down on the bottom, they had burned. So I had no air. So I was dead in the water, right? And of course my APU's not working. I can't idle the truck, so I would just lose air all day. So the guy handed me a wrench. The shop handed me a wrench, and I had to unhook all the wires to the inverter and wrap them with duct tape. And then once I did that, they were able to fix the air hoses. And it cost me like $200. The next time I hit a Walmart, I bought a smoke detector and a carbon monoxide detector, which I highly recommend those two things being in your truck at all times. And I talked about it on Facebook, and Pale Rider said, "I know you're going to have a bad day tomorrow. I know that you're going to be dwelling on this, so call me." And we talked for hours as I'm going through the desert at 4 a.m, knowing that my mind would be my own worst enemy, knowing that my depression would kick in and just start spiraling downhill. That's the kind of friends you need out here, is people like Pale Rider that basically distracted me and kept me going. You know, because mind you, I couldn't even talk to my family. I couldn't even talk to my wife at that time. But as I started rolling, was able to roll, then as long as I had signal, Pale Rider and I were on the phone. But you know, it was kind of an eye-opening experience when I had people tell me I should have just let it burn and give up, right? So here I am, still persevering. And again, I'm not the smartest owner-operator. I'm not the smartest businessman. I have my flaws. There are people watching this that are like, "Dang right, you got flaws." Right? But I'm still here. That could change tomorrow. That could change tonight. That could change next week. And the only thing I'm going to have left is my attitude and my friends and my family. And if you don't have that, it's tough. Anyone hear anything from Rican? No? I didn't know anything was going on. All right, Jonathan Wheeler. I got more tow truck burger. Provost is going to want his cut on that song and album. Yeah, he'll make. I'll give Provost 50% of whatever I make on that song. I say you bettered yourself with each move. That's all you can ask for. I appreciate it, Air Vaquero. I had a wheel hub fire with 10,500 gallons of gasoline on board. That could have been a bad day, Wilbur. Fords are fireproof, just saying. I don't know about that. Didn't Ford... Now, mind you, Ratman, I've got a Ford F-150 at home. That... Didn't Ford have like a recall that, you know, the cruise control was setting the trucks on fire whether you're using it or not? Right Lane, what's up? All right, Jason Perry, good night. Nobody's perfect. I get frustrated, as you know, but I always find a way. Right. Burger, you got perseverance on your side. You've got anger as a positive fuel for yourself. You know, you expect the worst, so you anticipate it, so you prepare for it. That's what I like about you. That's kind of what you have to do out here. You have to anticipate what is the worst case scenario, and how can I... You can't alleviate, or let me take it back. You can't avoid a lot of scenarios. I never expected a million years for my truck to catch on fire, right? And I'm here to say that if you drive a truck that does not have like an escape hatch or a way to get out from the sleeper, I don't know. I don't know if I could do that now. That Peterbilt had no doors. This one's got, and it's easy to load groceries when you got a side door. But I would not recommend having a truck where you can't get out from the sleeper. You know more about me. Oh, where are we at? Oh, dang it. I didn't read it all. Thank you all for showering with me. Kevin, hope your phone's waterproof. When you get knocked down, you gotta jump back on it. You gotta jump back up. But that was a tough evening, because self-doubt came in and said, maybe I'm not cut out for this. I mean, how many other owner-operators have their trucks catch on fire within the first, 9 months or whatever it was? The reality is that the APU place did not install things correctly, and my lack of knowledge did not see the signs of a bad install. The reality is that APU was a piece of crap, and I wasn't paying attention. And how the APU went down, and the deal for the APU on the truck went down. That is all lack of experience. You see, I was talking with a friend of mine about the School of Hard Knocks. You know how I learned how to weld? I was thrown in the middle of a boat and said, weld. That's it. I had to learn through the School of Hard Knocks, and I became a pretty good welder. Well, trucking's no different. I had a lot of advantage because of things that I've seen riding with my dad, and I had friends that were truck drivers, and they kind of gave me tips. But for the most part, a lot of things I've had to learn the hard way, including some owner-operator stuff. So when it came time to pick this truck, I made sure I had good tires. I made sure that it had a brand new APU installed by a professional company that had a good reputation. I learned. And that's all you can hope to do. You learn. And if you can't learn, if you think it's everybody else's fault, you can't learn if you blame the carrier, or you blame the brokers, or you blame the government for all your problems. You can't learn that way. And I'm glad, Will Burke, and I'm glad you came out safe in that situation. Every setback is temporary. Right. I agree, Ratman. Never thought about using an escape door to load stuff. Brilliant. Right? Are you serious? Here, I'll give you guys, okay, so for those of you who are driving Kenworth, T680s or T660s, let me give you a little tip. If you've got a side door that opens, you got the latch from the inside, but how many of you know that if you open your side box on the passenger side underneath the door, that the same kind of latch, you can open it from the outside? How many of you know that? I had a 660 for a year before someone told me that. and I spread that knowledge to the other drivers, and you'd be amazed how many drivers don't know that. So there's my free tip of the day. Damn government broke my truck. May have been a tough night, but you learn from that night than a year of smooth sailing, right? You know, and I offered to buy a new fire extinguisher to the driver that helped me, and he was like, no, don't worry about it, you know. And I was so grateful that the shop was able to fix my airline so I can get rolling. But I tell you what, man, that was probably the most sleepless night. Any little smell or sound or anything, man, I was up, you know. Couldn't run my CPAP machine at that point because I didn't have any other inverter. You know, now I don't have an inverter in this truck, which I plan on getting probably this month. Well, Steve, how are you powering everything? With the APU. Carriers are set up where you don't need an inverter to run microwaves and stuff like that. So every night, I've got a lot of hours on my APU. Every night I run that thing. But as a backup, I've got one of those 300 watt plug-in inverters, and I can run my CPAP off of that. One of the last conversations I had with my father, he told me he should have let my mother have an abortion. That's my motivation to succeed. Wow, Ratman. That's harsh. That is, wow. But see, you took that negative and you made it a positive. And that's awesome. Right, Laney? Go check it out, dude. I've had good conversation with Ratman. I mean, the dude drives a Ford, so that makes him smart, right? Anyways, what else you guys want to talk about? Enough about me. Let's talk about you. And then I'm going to cut it short so I can call my wife and tell her goodnight. If there's no other comments, questions, or concerns. Going once. Actually, we're going to wait for Right Lane to figure out if he can find that latch or not. Where did Led Zeppelin get their name? I don't know who it was, but there was another artist that had heard of the artists that were compiling, that were making up Led Zeppelin. And they said, man, that thing's going to go down like a Led Zeppelin. And then they're like, hey, that's a cool saying. We're going to use that. But I don't know who the artist was. Now, I got to give Ratman props. His last video, he's wearing an Ozzy shirt. Ratman didn't think I knew that. I don't know who it was, though. Who was it? Who was it that said that? Someone said Ozzy, but I don't think that's right, because Ozzy wouldn't have been around. Well, I guess No Sabbath would have been around. The Hindenburg blimps, Ratman. But yeah, Ratman's got props because he was wearing an Ozzy shirt in his last video. What do you think about Kawhi Leonard going to the Clippers? The only part of that sentence I understand is the Clippers, which I believe you're either talking about barbershops or basketball. Either way, I'm not interested. Does it look like I go to a barber? Number one, and does it look like, you know, I'm not a huge basketball fan. After recent events, don't look like going to Texas. You know, Burger, how about you make it to Missouri and we'll rent a car and go to Dallas? How's that? Yes, Harold is still alive, Josh. A lot of the stuff that was going on YouTube has turned him off. So that's why he hasn't been around. And plus, he can't go live because of the new rules that YouTube has. So Harold is what they say over it. So, talk to you tomorrow. Have to get up at 4 a.m. for this delivery. Awesome, Provost. I look forward to that conversation. Is Dr. J still playing? Again, we're talking about basketball. Little bit of useless trivia. When I was in high school, I was the official videographer of the Glendale Falcons basketball games. It's fun to watch a good high school basketball game. Other than that, I have no interest in the professional stuff. Gats may be happy for me, actually. Might be interesting. You don't even trust it to go to Missouri? Well, see, Burger, Missouri, Indiana, well, not Missouri as much. Okay, I get you. But Indiana, Illinois, it's flat. Just go up and down 70. You'll get good fuel mileage, and the truck won't have to work as much. Stay up, beat good night. You know, Ratman, that's a good idea. It's time for me to go to bed. Actually, it's time for me to call the wife and then go to bed. So, guys, this has been a good conversation. I'm actually leave this one up. Give me a thumbs up if you want me to leave this up. And give me a thumbs down if you want to give me a ton of money. Meet me in the Keystone, we will fly. I haven't flown since 1997. Where's the thumbs buttons? We would like to congratulate Brian, who has finally discovered how to comment on recorded videos. So congratulations, Brian. Call me after Y if you got time. Okay, Kevin, I will. I definitely will. You're going to be up, right? Mr. Third Shift, Mr. Vampire. You don't know how to do thumbs? You do it like this. That's how you do it. Anyways, guys. Look, man, I don't have all the answers. I don't have any answers. All I know is sometimes just staying alive is all you can ask for, right? So, anyways, guys, thanks for watching. This has been a good talk. Keep your chin up. And, you know, that's it. That's it. I got nothing. What? Here's my last term. Fear is the thief of dreams. There you go. See ya.